Today, we're going to be talking about cards. Not these cards, prepaid cards, crypto cards, those kind of things. What are the best options for anonymous, private, secure crypto cards? Can you do it? How do you do it? What about if you have Coinbase or crypto.com cards like I got here in ghost business names? What is the process? What is the procedure? How does it all work? How does it all break down? And how can you use your crypto if you're in a deeply oppressed communist type country like Canada? What can you do if you're in a cashless society like Canada? What can you do if you're in a place that hates its... No, I'm kidding. Can you use this? Yes, you can. Let's break it down today in Operation Crypto Card. So a lot of you guys have probably seen me talk about cards that you can activate anonymously. Now, the fact is, having prepaid cards is fine. But what about having cards for crypto? What about having cards that are not directly in your name? I'm still a big proponent of the prepaid card and the anonymous prepaid debit card. I did a video here breaking it all down, and it still works great. I still do it. I have clients all the time, and I have viewers all the time who reach out to me and tell me it worked great for them, and that's awesome. But the reality is, that's great for purchases to a certain degree, to a certain dollar limit. But what if you want to be able to use your crypto, and what if you want to be able to use it anonymously? Is that even an option? What about Binance? Well, because of Binance's new structure, I actually don't recommend Binance's card for most people. There are rare circumstances that it works, and if it works for you, that's great, but it's not really for me. Now, a lot of you guys are familiar with Cake Wallet, and Cake Wallet very, very closely merged with Monero, which I'm a huge fan. You guys know. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, Monero. Those are like the four asset classes that I talk about on a consistent basis that will be there for you when you need them. There are alternate asset classes, cash equivalent, equities, real estate, multifamily, that are great investments in the right economy, but this typically isn't it. A lot of you have probably seen that the U.S.'s credit rating got downgraded. Now, it went from AAA, which is insane. Why do we have AAA? Are they getting ready to tow someone's car to a mechanic, AAA? To AA+, AA+. It should be like C- if we're being honest. Because, yeah, we have about 133 to 140% debt to GDP. So, the banks who are telling us the rules and regulations of what needs to happen in the monetary system and the future of crypto, and the lobbyists through the political sphere, and they got downgraded. But don't worry, Bidenomics, it's working great. It's Bidenomics. And we all know one thing for sure, Bidenomics will never let you down. Even though we have record gas prices, house prices, food prices, energy prices, daycare prices, record amount to pave my driveway or to clean the pool or to change the oil in the truck or the car. We're setting all the records. That's what we do. We set records. Bidenomics. But having gift cards on Cake Wallet is a bridge too far. And so Cake Wallet is a shell of its former self, which is very unfortunate because it was a good service. It was a good option. But they no longer really provide that. And it was good. It wasn't great to start with, but I like having services like that. I like having things in the crypto space and being able to utilize Web3 or the future of the internet to do these things. But unfortunately, it's no longer an option because of the way that things shook out with the bank, and the bank decided to get out of the crypto industry because pressure got put on the bank that Cake Wallet used to use this service. And so now they're left kind of just standing there twiddling their thumbs like, hey, we're looking for another bank, but all the banks seem to be turning them down. And so you've got another dead project because you got crypto and you got Web3 relying on Web2. And whenever you're relying on Web2, and I'm going to be brutally honest, Coinbase card, what's that logo? Visa. Now, whenever you have Visa or Mastercard or American Express or Discover or Diner Club, then you're going to be in serious trouble because this is Web 2-based technology, Web 2-based companies controlling Web 3, controlling blockchain, controlling crypto. But it's what we have right now because we're so early in the space. And the problem with most people is they want to go from crypto to cash and from cash to crypto. That should never be a thing. It should never be a thing, but it is a thing because we rely on fiat to fuel crypto. So if they cut off the oxygen, the fuel supply, crypto will inevitably die. And that's what they're doing with the bill where you guys can only have $1,000 per year in crypto. And this is a serious problem. So with cards, what can you do? You're backed into a corner. Well, I talk a lot about becoming a ghost and having institutional accounts, having business accounts through exchanges, through your holding company and being able to structure these things, which is what I do for the people in the Ghost program. But really taking it a step further on the thought process and the mindset, because eventually we need to sever the ties. So if you were going to do this with crypto.com or Coinbase, is another card better? Well, let's dissect this for a second. You've got Coinbase, which is a publicly traded company in the United States. You've got Crypto.com, which is basically a United States company. Yeah, Hong Kong, let's get real here. They're not a U.S. company, but they act as a U.S. company, kind of like Toyota. Toyota, a lot of them are made in the U.S. It's about as U.S. as it's going to come, but it's a Japanese company, let's be fair. So when you have this merging of this new world order global system, what's what and who's who and where's coming from when? I don't know. And that's the problem. So how can we start to sever the tie? If it has Visa, it doesn't matter who it has after that. It doesn't matter if it's Coinbase, Crypto.com, or Banana Exchange, because it's all the same because it goes through Visa. And the other exchange really has no pull or play. That's who you're setting up your institutional account through the regulatory body. So it really doesn't matter, which is the good news. The bad news is you're still going outdated, old school Visa technology. But now we have Fed now. Not Fed yesterday, not Fed in 3 weeks, Fed now, right now. Kind of, sort of, because it's not actually fully implemented even though it's live, but there's a few banks that are utilizing it, and the big banks are. So, does this work in the crypto world? Yes and no. Are crypto companies still going to be able to issue Visa or Master or Discover or American Express card type deals? Yes, but it's going to look a little bit different. And this is why settling payments through a business is so important than settling payments through a person. Because with the new regulations in Fed now, it comes with a new ledger that actually ties directly in the blockchain, but not for any coins, including Bitcoin, which has been deemed a commodity, interestingly enough, but for CBDC coins. So moving forward, you're going to have to use CBDCs on these? Not exactly. I know it can get a little bit confusing, but we've been diving deep into the bills and the things that have been coming up through Congress and through the regulatory bodies, to which there aren't any, because crypto is still kind of a gray area. Fair enough. But when we look at the banking system and we look at what's happening, not the collapse and the downgrade and all those things, the Bidenomics, Biden depression, Biden disaster, Biden driving right off a cliff. No, the structure of the banking system and how these things are going to be able to move forward so you can utilize crypto through direct payments. Well, what if there was a system where you could go from crypto directly to products and services? That's what it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be cryptocurrency. It's supposed to be able to buy things with cryptocurrency. Well, there are select vendors, select companies where you can do that, but they're few and far between. And statistically, there's exponentially more companies accept the crypto in 2017 than they do now. And the reason, simply put, is the volatility. It is just all over the map. And vendors and companies can't afford that, and they can't afford to have to hold it in case it comes back up in 3 days or 3 years. Doesn't work. It can make a company a lot of money in good times, and it could bankrupt the company in bad times, because if they can't afford it and they're doing a lot of transactions and they do it on the day where the thing drops exponentially, which happens all the time in crypto, then that's a serious problem. And because of the volatility, it's not really usable in the regard that a regular payment. I mean, even Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is going to be the closest. Monero is going to be the closest on the privacy front. So you got to go from the currency to the product. Now, there are places that accept crypto. Of course, there's lots of places to a degree. In technology, digital products are easy to buy in crypto. Hosting, VPNs, websites, software, things like that are easy. But what about physical, tangible things? What about paying bills? What about buying bigger items? Well, this is why people go from that to Web 3, take a futuristic product like Bitcoin or any of these other cryptocurrencies and go backwards into the Fed now, which is Visa and all the other brands that you see on these cards. So is it actually adding value, and are you able to go from crypto to goods, crypto to services, or get paid in crypto and utilize it? See, that's how you can control the crypto product. So having to go backwards into fiat is the fundamental problem, because fiat is backed by nothing. Even Bitcoin is energy. Bitcoin is decentralized, peer-to-peer. Bitcoin is a 21 million no matter what, where fiat can be printed unlimited. You can have endless dollar, endless euro, endless yuan. Any of these different currencies, you could have endless. The pound, as many as you want. That's the problem. That's the fundamental problem. So you got BRICS coming in. So is BRICS going to be the saving grace? Well, no, because the problem with the suppression in the gold market, and make no mistake, I am very, very bullish on gold. I'm very big on gold and precious metals. But the problem is the suppression in that market, Russia and Brazil and China, they're not going to be able to adjust the market. And they've already basically said as much. So they're going to Africa to see if they can pivot some of these things, because Africa settles transactions in 33 currencies. Let me rephrase that. Africa has 33 currencies, but settles transactions in about 3. And most of the things they buy across border, like their own borders, is in the dollar. Over 80% of transactions is in the dollar. In my last video, yesterday, I talked about how one of the African leaders told Joe Biden to kick rocks, and instead of withholding aid, maybe he should use that aid here in America, because we have a third world nation when it comes to big cities: Chicago, Seattle, LA, San Francisco, Detroit, and on and on and on and on and on. We've all seen it. So what can we do to adjust this to be able to work for you and me? What can we do to be able to pivot this? Is there a method? Well, right now, having to go through Web3 directly, it's not really an option from a personal standpoint. Is it an option from a business? Yes, if you have a ghosted account like I talked about, but you still need a traditional bank card, because banks run the fiat if you want to get in and out of fiat. So the shift has to be not paralleling with fiat, not utilizing fiat, not utilizing the CBDC, not utilizing the traditional SWIFT debt system, because that's what it is. It's not a monetary system. It's a debt-based system. It's built on bodies, not to be graphic, but that's a fact. It's backed by a military that'll do literally anything, and that's why we have 130 to 140% debt to GDP, which has literally not been seen since the Roman Empire, and we know what happened to them. So this is where it's going. This is where it's heading. This is what's the outlook for the future. when you look at these cards, one is not better than the other. The most important thing is that you have it in a business. You have an institutional account, and it's something that you control, but you don't own. You need to own nothing, control everything if you want to be able to do these things moving forward. That is vital. If you have not done that, if you have not structured that, you can check out the first link down below, and I can help you with that. Me and my team have structured literally thousands of people doing this, so you can have your crypto 100% anonymous and off the grid when these systems come into place, and then pivot over to Web3. Now, I've talked a lot about how these things are going to go moving forward, but people have to shift their mind from the usage of fiat, because as long as you're using fiat, crypto will always be able to be controlled. But if you're getting in and out of other assets, real estate, precious metals, predominantly precious metals, so looking at legal tender, and there's a lot of states here in the United States that are utilizing precious metals, legal tender, and real estate as an investment vehicle, then you can get in and at that, massively legally reduce your taxes across the world, and also not have to deal with the fiat process, which is what I've got a lot of clients doing through this structure. So you can legally structure yourself, legally have asset protection, legally minimize your taxes, and maximize your privacy and anonymity, and not have to rely on the debt-based system for your business structure. And then your personal structure, you pay yourself a salary through fiat. So is one card better than the other? The answer is no. And I see a lot of people on social media saying this one's the best, or this one's the best, or this one's the best. Two cards that have a Visa logo, neither one of them are the best. They're the exact same. Now, one might have a little bit better rewards program, and if that's what you're looking for, correct. But are you kidding? Rewards? What, a freak of flyer miles? You save money on a pizza? Get out of here. We're talking about world-changing things, and people are worried about, like, oh, man, I'm flying from Portland to Dallas, and I'm saving 87, but who cares? Literally, who cares? In reality, you need to be looking at the bigger picture of how you can restructure yourself, and this is one of the loopholes you can utilize to do it, and this is one of the many legal loopholes that we utilize to be able to help people structure themselves to where they don't have to partake in the CBDC or the Web3 surveillance system. Because the problem is they're trying to confuse Web3 with CBDC and social credit score, and that's not it. And I see Web3 being branded with social credit score, and that's actually not true. That's what people want you to believe in the elite. And I hate it when people just say elite and leave it there. The global and business leaders that have a financial vested interest in you being controlled by them to make them more. That's what it is, right? You look at these individuals who vote outside of the people's best interest, who do things outside of the greater good's best interest. 6 billion can suffer, 8 billion can suffer, so 100,000 can prosper. That's kind of how the system is structured. It's working fine. Everyone says the system is broken. The system is working 100% how it's designed. You've got to be able to reshape things for you. So it's kind of a trick question. Is one better than the other? I see this all the time. No, it's how you structure it that means everything. And this is vital. And then how you look at asset classes. Can you use direct crypto to real estate? Yes, I work with a lot of people who are doing real estate, especially in places like Mexico, Brazil, Canada. Shockingly, I don't understand why people are buying anything in Canada, but they are. All through Europe. This is very popular in Europe. In the United States, it's obviously exceedingly popular because getting in and out of real estate, especially taking advantage of what's happening. Now, the one industry you can't legally do this in, and I see people pitching this, is the stock market. Do not do this in the stock market because of the way the stock market's structured. Technically, in most circumstances, I've been told, this is what I've been told, you're not breaking the law, but you're too close to breaking the law. In Privacy Acts, we don't advocate breaking the law ever under any circumstances. And I don't partake in the stock market because, in my opinion, it's a rigged piece of trash. But also, crypto and stocks don't mix. So keep those separate, in my opinion. But in real estate, precious metals, businesses, so equities that are direct businesses, especially private businesses, and other investment vehicles, there's a lot of value there. And now you see some of the biggest investment companies in the world, Vanguard and BlackRock, really getting ready to pump Bitcoin to hundreds and hundreds of thousands because of what they're doing. They've registered to be able to use them as part of their investment vehicle for the trillions upon, they control together almost $20 trillion, just those two companies. I think Vanguard's like 8, BlackRock's 10, 18 to $20 trillion, just two companies. They're not going to put their whole portfolio in Bitcoin, so don't get too excited. But the crypto market in whole is probably going to go to about 70 trillion. So the people who are in and structured are going to benefit massively. But you shouldn't worry as much about these cards. If you get one through your business, I do recommend it, and I recommend all of them that are structured through your business because none is better than the other. I've tested virtually all of them. I use crypto.com and Coinbase is probably the most because they're the simplest and easiest to turn on and off and easiest to toggle, easiest to transfer because I have business accounts. So they're all anonymous, they're all ghosted. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It all runs through my business. It doesn't matter. I control the businesses, the businesses own the assets. Like I told you. Now, if you have it in your name, oh, bro, you're getting ready for serious trouble. I don't wish that on anybody. I don't recommend anybody have crypto in your name. I recommend 0 of you have crypto in your name, especially the way we're going. But that's my recommendation. You do you. You do what you want to do. The Visa ones tend to be the best because Visa's partnership with these companies and their long-term contracts are the best. We've seen what happened to Cake Wallet because they used a small regional national bank for kind of a niche project/product, and they got pressure put on them and they shut the whole thing down. They got out of the crypto space altogether. Not Cake Wallet, but the bank that was funding the project, which was a great project, but they don't want that because that doesn't add value to the bigger system. That's why you have to go directly through these exchanges. And that's why in all the carve-outs, there's carve-outs for businesses, but no carve-outs for people. It's the way it always is in these bills because the people, they're able to make the system work off the backs of the little guy. They want to keep you the little guy. You don't have to be the little guy. So that's what I want to talk about this because it's a question I get all the time, and it's kind of a trick question, and I've talked about it before, but I've never gone as in-depth, as in detail. But using crypto in and out of asset classes directly outside of fiat is going to be your best benefit, is what I recommend to literally pretty much everyone, especially if you have anything to do with real estate or precious metals or business investing. These kind of asset vehicles, it works incredible. If you own a business, great option. Anyway, really appreciate you guys checking out this video. And make sure you subscribe, putting out new content all the time on PrivacyX. Take action, guys, every single day. Take action, move forward, study, research, learn, educate yourself, understand that use the new world order and the global economy to your advantage. Reverse it, turn it on its head, and come out a winner on top. That's what we're teaching you how to do here today. Have an amazing day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.